Even when I know they're not driving, sometimes that means bringing them a little surprise. And then they had a drink to me.
Brought to you by Smart Serve Ontario and Arrive Alive, Drive Sober.
You're watching Rogers TV.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of My River District. I'm your host, Viveca, Community Development Coordinator for the City of Owen Sound and the River District. And we're sitting here today with Islay Graham and Jiya Kukreja of St. Mary's, correct? You're both at St. Mary's?
Yes.
And they've done something so incredible. I feel very emotional about it. And I dragged them on here. They had no choice because they needed to tell more people about the Pencil Project. What is the Pencil Project?
So the Pencil Project was an initiative that we started last year, and we wanted to collect success stories of first-generation immigrants, and it was inspired by both of our background stories, which we'll get into later, and then also just low immigration retention rates within the Grey and Bruce counties. But we really just wanted to get a sense of like how all of these people have come from all these different countries and made Grey and Bruce counties their home.
That's incredible. And so are you guys both first generation, or were your parents first generation?
I'm first generation.
Me too.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. So can you tell me a little bit about your stories, who you are?
Yeah, my name is Jiya, like you said, and I do go to St. Mary's High School. I'm in grade 12. I moved from India to Canada when I was around 9 years of age. That's when my parents decided to move. We came here straight to Owen Sound because we had family here, family friends that helped us get well connected in the community. There's lots of things that I like to do outside of school. Like I like to play sports and volunteer here and there. And I think that's about it. Yeah, there's lots of extracurriculars that I'm involved in at school, which I think makes school like the best place ever to be at. Not so much the schoolwork, but definitely more the extracurriculars.
Everybody knows nobody's at school for the schoolwork.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely the extracurriculars and the people there that make school like the best place ever for me, at least.
What are some of the extracurriculars that you help with?
Yeah, so I'm the SAC president, co-president, along with Ian McLeod. So there's that extracurricular. And
what is that?
Student council.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, student council. Yeah, we got that position last year. And for sports, I played badminton, volleyball. I did play basketball for 2 years, not this year, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah, because you've been busy.
Yeah, I've been busy.
And you carry a part-time job as well.
Yes, yeah, I do have a part-time job.
Goodness, no time for anything other than school and work and doing this amazing project. Islay, why don't you tell me about yourself a little bit?
I'm immigrated from China to Grey and Bruce counties when I was around the age of 2. So when I came here, I didn't have like the same experiences as some of these people in the book, like employment issues, but for me it was like cultural, like shock, and just not really having an engagement with my culture. So my parents were able to connect me with May Ip, who's local, and I'm sure you know her.
I do, yes. We worked
Yes.
together on several initiatives.
Yes, and then also Emily B, who has like work at the artist co-op, and then she also taught me like Mandarin lessons when I was younger, and then Chinese brush painting, and she's a really famous artist. So yeah, it was good to have an engagement with my culture growing up. For me, I'm also on student council, and I'm secretary and media representative, and then we're both on DECA.
Yes,
which we'll
Tell me about DECA. DECA, they explained to me a little bit in previous conversations, but this is something that absolutely could not have possibly existed when I was in school. I would have heard about it, I think, and it's the coolest thing.
Yeah.
What is DECA?
So DECA is a business club. It stands for Distributive Education of Central America. Islay and I are executives for our club. I hold the president, and she's like the vice president, and she's awesome at it. We both all of the members at the club have the opportunity to compete in regionals, provincials, and internationals if you move on. And basically there's several different categories that are laid out. So if you're interested in, for example, promoting clothing or apparel or anything like that, you have the option to compete in that category that interests you.
Okay.
For us, we competed in PMCA, which is more community awareness. Project management community awareness is what PMCA stands for. In that category, we competed with our book, Penciling It In. basically you compete at regionals. If you do well there, you move to provincials, and then you write a paper too associated with it if that's the category that you're competing in. And then if you do well at provincials, you have the opportunity to move on at internationals.
Very cool, very cool. So how did the pencil project and penciling it in the book kind of come to pass?
2 years ago, I guess it was.
Yeah.
So Hevlin, who's now at university, but she was also on DECA when we first started this initiative, but it was more so like hypothetical because we were in a different event for DECA. So we were promoting the Waterfront Festival, which was an actual event in Owen Sound, and we had this idea of creating a book and like having a booth to distribute this book, but it was more so like how we would promote the Waterfront Festival and get like community awareness like to come to this event. But then this year we actually wanted to make it real, so we started in the summer just kind of planning out executive decisions of like how we're going to reach out to different people to get interviews and like publishing things and budgeting. So yeah.
So you guys have had to really work through every facet of creating a book, printing a book, time managing your lives and a book. And so DECA, the program at school, is it a class? Like, are you in that class?
No, it's an extracurricular. So it's like playing volleyball or basketball outside of school. You kind of just go in, sign up, see if you're interested. And if you are, you get officially registered through the DECA Ontario website. Okay. And then we have after-school meetings all the time. Well, I guess not so much anymore because it's like our off season a little bit before we get back into it. And we go after school, we prepare. So like I said, depending on your category, what you're competing with, if your category involves you to write a paper, like there's different like a business proposal options. Like you can either write a 10-page or a 20-page a business proposal. So we work on those. Because Isla and I have competed in the past, it's like we help provide mentorship for some of the people that are there that are new. And there's also a role-playing event, which is basically where you are given a situation on the spot. So for example, if a company's not making as many sales, like a car sales, then you have to come up with a creative solution with them, and then we have to listen to their presentation to ensure that they hit like the criteria that DECA looks for.
Okay. Yeah. And so you compete locally?
Yes.
And so, sorry, excuse me, go ahead.
Depending on your category, we do compete in the Waterloo region. So we would, some of our chapter members would go there, compete, and see how well they do, and then depending on their results, they either move on to provincial or they don't. We didn't have to do provincials because our event had, or our regionals, because our event had a bye.
Oh, okay.
But lots of events in our group did not.
Very cool. And then provincials it was in Toronto?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And what does that look like? What is that event about? What do you do there?
Well, there's 5,000 people that usually attend provincials, so it's a lot, and it's very chaotic because you're in. Is it the Sheraton?
Yeah,
I think it is.
yes.
Yeah.
So they're like all teenagers.
Yes. Yeah.
Wild.
You're all packed in this like ginormous hotel, but it doesn't feel like as big when like there's so many people.
Yeah.
And there's like so many people, and like business is hired too, and like so many strict rules, and it's super crowded. And basically you have like, depending on your event, you'll have like a written exam of like 100 multiple choice. Like we had to do that last year. Yeah. And then this year we were like, no exam. So ours was just like the written 20-page business proposal that you hand in before provincials, and then you have like a 15-minute interview. So for us, we had like a lot of practice time to like practice our presentation the day before, and then we presented for 15 minutes, and then we basically have a lot of downtime. But yeah, it's busier for other people who have to write like an exam and the business proposal and do a presentation. But you usually only speak to one or two judges, and then that's it. And yeah.
So when did that take place?
February?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Mid-February, like around.
Okay.
Yeah, like the second week of February, somewhere around there is when that would have happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were down there for how long?
Like 3 days, I believe. Yeah.
Cool. And then how did that go for you guys?
We were provincial champions, so you get top 20 for your event, and then we were fortunate to be top 7, which go to internationals, which are held in Anaheim, California this year.
And one of those?
April 27th, 25th to the 28th, I think. Oh goodness, 27th to the 29th, I think is the actual competition dates, but I believe we're leaving around the 25th.
Yeah,
okay.
we said earlier.
And so who like takes you down there?
our teacher advisors, which are Mr. Lowe, Miss Christina Simons, and then Miss Laura Neely.
That is super cool. I'm really excited for you guys to go down to Anaheim. I mean, there's going to be tons to do.
Yeah.
What are they looking for from you at provincials? Not provincials, nationals.
So we got our feedback from provincials, and we just have to, so our 15-minute presentation, there were a couple of things that the judge at the time felt that we missed for like their marking, because they do have a rubric. It's not very set because they have to compare all the different presentations and all the ideas to see who can move on to internationals. But he did give us a couple heads up, or I guess improvements on things that we can do. So we actually had a binder to flip through. He recommended that we ditch the binder and like maybe just hang on to the pieces of paper and like bring them out as we talk.
Okay.
So just a couple things like that, and some of our business proposal will now be needed to edited, like budgeting and stuff, because we do have our book launch and a bunch of other things into consideration.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's very exciting for you guys. I think that is such an incredible opportunity for students to go through this process. And the fact that you're like in grade 12 and you're writing a business plan and you have to deal with budgets and stuff, that's like real life stuff. So congratulations. And congratulations on getting to nationals.
Thank you.
Is there anything after nationals?
I don't believe so.
No.
There's
I
no
think that's it.
internationals?
No,
this is
Anaheim
international.
Oh, this is international.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the big show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you guys excited for it?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Should be good.
How do you present? How does that 15-minute presentation go?
So you get to bring in it's very open. Like people bring in like big like Bristol boards too, but it's like a lot of time to set up too. So we just do like a PowerPoint and then have presentation, and then we're bringing our book in obviously. And we had a binder with like more information in it, but apparently
Get
that
rid
was
of the binder.
too confusing. So yeah, but it's like basically
You kind of just walk in, greet the judge, and like get right into it.
Are you like on stage in front of everybody else?
Oh, it's
No.
like it's very like
It's very much like
generic,
this.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But it's like a table and then like 2 chairs and then the judge. Like you can stand, but like most of the time people sit.
So it's more of a casual kind of interaction.
Yeah.
But like the way you carry yourself and like enter should all be at least they have like very specific guidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are doing great here. So I think 100%. There you go. That's what you win. And what happens if you win that? Do people win that, or is it just the fact that you've made it that far and just present and you're like, good?
No, there are.
I think there's top awards, like first, second, third, but I don't know how that works with like all the different events, because there's like 20,000 people that are at this one versus 5,000 at provincials.
Right.
So I don't know.
I'm not sure either what happens. Like I don't know what happens after international.
So you guys are going to have to go and then report back and let us know how it all went.
Yes.
And everything. But on top of that, you guys, grade 12s, are having a book launch.
Yes. Yeah.
For Penciling It In, which is part of the pencil project, correct? It's like the accumulation of everything that was under the pencil project.
Yes.
Kind of becoming a book. And this book is, why don't you tell me what this book is about?
This book is about first-generation immigrants who live in the Grand Bruce counties and how they have made, or how they have had like a successful life from the opportunities that are presented here.
Okay, that's awesome. And it's their real life stories.
Yes.
You've just collected them, and not just, you've done the arduous task of collecting these and creating an entire book out of it. We're going to talk more about Penciling It In and everything you guys are up to after this break.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the set of Attack Rap. I'm your host, Nick Kennedy. This week on the show, we've got Cedric Guindon, number 11, number 16, Jake Crawford, and number 32, Carter George, joining us to talk all things attack action. Stay tuned here on Rogers TV.
I'm Mayor Ian Boddy. If you want to understand the decisions being made about your community, please join us on Rogers TV Cable 53 on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. or online at rogerstv.com to watch the Owen Sound City Council. You can also read our agendas and reports or watch replays of meetings at owensound.ca. We hope you'll stay informed and we hope you'll tune in. Thanks.
Hey, I'm Jay Crawford.
And I'm Cedric Gano. And make sure you tune in on Attack Rap every week on Rogers TV to make sure you know what's going on with your own sound tech.
Hi, and welcome back to My River District. I'm sitting down today with Islay Graham and Jiya Kukreja, and they are the masterminds to the pencil project, culminating in penciling it in a book that a couple of 12th graders wrote. And it's amazing. So I'm not jealous or anything. No, I think what you guys are doing are really, really wonderful. This is a collection of stories from local immigrants who are dealing with potential boundary or like boundaries and all of that kind of stuff within the Grey County community, correct?
Yes.
Excellent. How are you publishing a book?
We went to a local printing service called Quick Print, so they're just downtown, and we collected a lot of funds through grants, and then our school and school board helped support us, and then also through our GoFundMe, which is featured on our website, pencilproject.ca.
Okay.
And yeah, just a lot of like donations from families and friends.
So this is a not-for-profit book.
Yes.
It's for the community members, but you are in need of some more funding to be able to broadcast this book out more.
Yes.
Okay. So everybody out there, fund this incredible project. The Pencil Project, or just Pencil Project?
Pencilproject.ca.
.ca.
Yes.
And you've got your GoFundMe page there. Everything is good to go. Because you're having a book launch.
Yes, we are.
On March 28th?
Yes.
I remember the date. Oh my goodness. At the library.
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Well, it's very like it's pretty informal. You just kind of walk in, drop by, get the book. Like there will be snacks and just other finger foods offered on site that you can just kind of come in, and we'll be there. So if you have any questions for us,
you'll be signing books.
Yes.
Well, you'll be signing this before you go.
Yes.
No, that's awesome. So starting at 5:30 p.m. it goes till
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Come and go event. Talk to you guys. Pick up a book. Make donations, and that kind of stuff. I think that's really, really great. Can you go into one of these stories? Can you tell me a little bit about one of these stories?
Yeah, I think like a common theme between like a lot of them was like the want for like better education, or even just something like as simple as like safety that we kind of take for granted in this community. But a lot of people were fleeing from war countries, so it was really interesting to hear like they're super like being so, what's the word, like vulnerable in front of you, and being able to tell like in such depth. Like there's one story from Syria, and it was anonymous, so I don't want to go too much into depth, but they're just talking about how like just the sounds of like the bombing and stuff, like it was so like incredible like to hear that someone has actually like went through that. And like now the sisters are like in medical school, nursing school. So, but they're really taking advantage of like the opportunity here, and it's really amazing to hear those stories. And
yeah, there's also someone that you can relate to. I feel like even if you're not an immigrant. So, for example, we have a story of a pharmacist who has also she has chosen to remain anonymous. They basically had a full-time job as a student, trying to, make pace at university. They were there every morning. They would wake up at like 6 o'clock, go to university, come back, go to like 2 different jobs, and they would repeat that every single day and get home at 11 o'clock, which I know that a lot of people can relate to, at least that stress of keeping up with schooling, education, extracurriculars, and jobs. So there's also, although there's different stories, but there's also something that you can relate to, which I feel like is an important thing to recognize.
Yeah, and I think it's also important for the privileged people in Canada who have been here for multi-generations, and we haven't seen war the same as it's happening right now in many other countries, and a lot of people are coming to Canada for safety from these really terrible, awful things, and you guys are you're telling their stories, and that's really beautiful. Do you go in and edit the stories, or do they just type them and provide them to you and you write them kind of verbatim?
So the interview process was a bit different for like every candidate, but we had different options for them. So we would set up a time and like we would both try to be there, but if it didn't work, like one of us would do the interview. And if they weren't comfortable meeting in person or it didn't work out, we would just call them and then we would record the interview too. And then we also had a few people who would just type it up and send it if they didn't have time to meet. But then we had editors, which are David Graham and Laura Neely, and they really helped once like we had written up all the stories and they were able to go through everything and just make any grammar changes. And
yeah,
that's awesome.
Anything maybe we can reword better, just things like that.
Yeah.
But the stories remain intact.
Yes,
it's just some grammatical things.
Yes. And we do send the copy back to the interviewee to ensure that everything in there is completely accurate before we put it in a book.
How did you go about reaching out to these people? How did you find the people to be in this book?
So we reached out to some of our own personal connections first, and then we also reached out to local services like the YMCA Settlement Services and where May It Works, like the Grey Bruce Immigration Partnership. We reached out to them and see if they could find candidates who were interested in being in our book. And we took a road trip down all the way to Kincardine, Dundalk, that area too, one day to give out our flyers. Yeah, we also had lots of friends who live outside of communities, I guess outside of Owen Sound. So we gave them flyers to take with them and post it up in local spots too. So I think that would helped us out a little bit.
How long did you kind of promote that you were collecting these stories?
I think it was from like August to December. We were wrapping up like the final interviews in start of January. And
is that 2020?
23? Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yeah.
So you've turned this book around in like a month and a half.
Yes, essentially. Yeah.
Like post the collection of all of the media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful, and it's beautifully bound. So great job, Quick Print. Is there any sort of planning on making this a series?
We have to talk about that.
I just like jumped on you guys.
But nothing is out of the possibility. You never know where we decide to take this project next.
So what is on your website as the Pencil Project? I mean, this is penciling it in. This is the accumulation of all of those stories that you've collected and all of the amazing hard work that you guys have done. What will they find on your website other than the donations and things like that? Are some of these stories listed there? Do they have to get the book? How does that work?
Right now we're working on trying to make the book more available, like through a website potentially, but don't quote me in case it doesn't happen. But we're gonna be receiving donations at the book launch, hopefully, and then from this we could do like more printings of the book. But on the website there's also more about kind of what the Pencil Project was, like our initiative in general, and a little bit about our backstories, and as well as Hevelyn, who was helping us out like last year before this was like an actual thing. And I think that, and our Instagram is linked there as well, which is the Pencil Project 2023. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I think at one point we did talk about maybe setting it up so you have to donate like whatever you can, and that donation would go to one of the organizations that we pick, and you can get a PDF of the copy sent to you.
Yeah,
something like that. But again, nothing is impossible at the moment.
So funds that you guys are fundraising through this book, beyond the cost to actually produce the book itself, are going to other organizations?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What other organizations are you currently supporting?
Different newcomer services within the Grey and Bruce counties. So I think Grey Bruce Local Immigration Partnership and then YMCA Settlement Services are like the main two that we're thinking of donating to.
We also have like welcoming communities.
Yes, Grey Bruce, and
that's through May, right? May it?
I think she's between both, I believe.
She might do both.
Yeah.
Put her name on everything.
Yeah.
Wow. So not only are you communicating out the stories and the importance and everything that has happened to people, you are then actively supporting those support groups for the same community members.
Yes.
Well, aren't you guys nice? My goodness, what are they putting in the water for this new generation? Honestly, I've sat down with people for Hockey Fest, and there was the two schools, and we were chit-chatting, and they just all speak so beautifully. And they're so intelligent, and they're so talented. Clearly, skipped a generation. Okay. No, I want to thank you both so much for coming in and bringing this book and bringing attention to these stories that are so important for people to know, whether you're part of any of these communities, whether you are generationally an Owen Sounder or a Grey Brucer and that kind of stuff. I think that you absolutely should pick up this book. You're having a book launch on March 28th. At the library. Come and go, doesn't cost anything to get in, but you are accepting donations. Tell me what kind of donations are preferred. Digital, like through your GoFundMe, or do you prefer cash donations?
Either or, there's not really a preference.
Okay, so they can come with $20 cash if that's what they wanted.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's really good to know, because I know for some people, they like to do cash donations. Some people only do digital donations. So I think it's really lovely and beautiful that you guys have both of those options for everybody, making it more accessible to help fund penciling it in and to help fund all of those programs and supports that you guys are also supporting. But I have one more question before I let you go, and that is, why do you, as locals, love it here?
For me, I think being in a rural community, like there's less population, but it gives opportunity to find other opportunities and also just kind of shine more and like take advantage of like the things that a lot of people don't know about. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunity here.
Yeah, I agree with Isla. I think that because it is like a smaller community compared to others, you get to know other people a lot better, whereas you were in like a bigger community. Like it's like going to school, for example. Like I because our school is smaller compared to lots of them, I can confidently say that I know like most people at our school. Same with the community, you're able to like reach out and make more personal connections and kind of know everybody who's in the area.
Yeah, it's really a tight-knit community. Yeah, and full of support. So I know they're going to step up to help fund this book and help fund those support systems that you guys are doing. I'm going to give you each your official badges of honor for being locals and for loving it here.
Thank you
and
so
for
much.
helping it make such a beautiful difference in people's lives. What do you guys do in your free time? Do you have free time?
Like in our crunch time for the book, we were like, it was just penciling it in for a while. I think every time we saw
So
each
in our
other.
free time, we write books. How about yourself?
Yeah, so that was like there for a while. But right now, it's pretty chill right now. Yeah, we have everything planned for the book launch. There's not much we can actually do until closer to the date now. So we have taken care of like all.
Yeah, but you saying earlier, like you like to enjoy water sports.
Yes, yeah. Oh
and
my
things
goodness.
like that.
I'm actually so excited. I want to go out for hikes more. I feel like I never do that as much. So that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to over March break.
And one of the great things is that we have some very special trails in the area, and people have written books about those. And it's fantastic, and a lot of that stuff is online. Are you guys going to university or college? Do you have plans, or are you just being like, I need a minute because I just wrote a book?
We're both planning university, I believe. My top choice is McMaster University or Waterloo for health science or general science.
Yeah, mine's Nipissing.
Okay.
Yep, or Queen's University for nursing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's brilliant, and I think you girls are absolutely brilliant, and you're doing such wonderful community things at such a young age. It's so impressive. Honestly, this is beyond something that I could have even imagined at your age. So you're coming from great roots, and you're doing wonderful things. So thank you so much for joining me on My River District. I am going to support you as much as I possibly can to make this book so popular. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
Our family used to be so fun. Now my brother takes care of me. I miss